Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fourth annual conference. Time flies when you're having fun. So it's our third year back here at K&L Gates. Lots of faces who've been here before, so welcome back. And lots of new faces as well, so hopefully you're really going to enjoy the session today. First of all, just a bit of a welcome. First of all, a big thank you to the sponsors of this event. We've got 7 sponsors who allow this event to be put on. You'll notice you didn't have to pay for today, and we want this to be a great event because it's a great event, not because it's a great free event. Bacon rolls maybe is a law to get you here, first of all, so hopefully you enjoyed those. So a big thank you to the sponsors, especially obviously K&L, who allow us to host this great venue. But the other sponsors as well, do visit them during the breakout. You'll get no hard sell from the sponsors, but they've all got something to offer the group, and that's why I think it's such a great group. Special thanks, I forgot to do it last year, so I better thank you at the beginning. Chris Woodbridge on the end here. It's pretty much myself and Chris who put this event together, cobble it together, we like to say. So thanks for Chris for the efforts he puts in as well. We've got a day packed with excellent presentations. Well, I think they're excellent. You've got a copy of the agenda within your delegate pack. So you should have all had a delegate pack. If anyone didn't pick one up at reception, you can pick one up later. So you've got in there all of the attendees and the agenda for today. You've got a facts mat. So a few of you, hopefully most of you know this, but if you don't say you don't. It's the compensation event process. So you can sit and study that during the day as well. So hopefully some useful packs. The loose theme of the day today is from procurement to closeout. So we're just trying to take it through the life cycle of a project. So the earlier sessions are looking at sort of setting up the projects. Then the sessions at the middle are looking at running the projects. And then towards the end, we'll look at, okay, what are we doing and what can we do different? So procurement to closeout, not fallout. So that's obviously the main intent. We've got Stephen and Ian, who are taking photos during the day. We're also recording the sessions, so these are going to be a live webinar that are going to be issued after the event. So each of the presentations will be available to the community. We had about 100 people who were on the reserve list for today, and we wanted to keep it sensible numbers. So that they will at least be able to access the event after, so they'll be able to see each of the presentations. Just so you've got an idea of the breaks today, the first break is at 11:05. We'll be next door, all the teas and coffees are in that room. Lunch is in the room down the end, next to the main stands by the stair. And just to make sure a few of you stay till the end, which hopefully most of you will anyway, there's the lure of a few beverages of the alcoholic variety available from 5:15, again, thanks to K&L Gates. On your badges, you've got the breakout groups, with Chris will introduce the breakout groups this afternoon. But you've got a number on there. Number 1 doesn't mean you're the best, okay? Number 1 means your breakout group number 1, okay? So sorry, John, you're running that one actually, so you are. We'll run through those after lunch. There is free Wi-Fi, so that's the code K&L Gates or KNLG at T35. So if you need Wi-Fi during the breaks, then you can use those. There's no fire alarm plan today. The fire exit is directly opposite the doors here, all the way down the stairs, and then the assembly point is out by St. Paul's over the road. But there's no planned fire alarm today. Just a reminder, check your phones. I'm thinking I haven't checked mine. I'm sure it's off. So make sure all phones are off and silent. In particularly the breaks, people tend to forget. So we won't remind you all day. You're grown up enough, but please do make sure your phones are switched off during the day. Just a bit of a reminder as what's happened since last year's conference. Last year we announced the launch of the 2013 version of the contracts. In the previous year, Thomas Telford have launched the new FM contract, their suite of contract documents and guidance published with the British Institute of Facilities Management. And that's in their quest to support good practice in facilities management. The pack includes the TSC in its existing form, so there doesn't need to be any changes, but it also includes guidance notes and the BIFM's Good Practice Guide on procurement. So that's just been launched in the last month or so. And we, within Thomas Telford, they've also this year, you may have noticed, launched the ECC Project Managers Accreditation course, which has been going down particularly well within the industry. Since last year's conference, we won another award. So the BE2 Awards for social media. the best online community. That was the last year's. I think they've a bit strapped for cash, so they printed it on a tile this year. But on the photo, it looks good. But when I actually looked at it, it was like, okay. But nice to be recognised within the industry what the group is actually trying to do, and not to gloat, but we had more votes than first, second, and third put into together, and a site were a mere second to this group. But that's obviously testament to the group. It's the group that's voting for this, so it's nice to get just we know it's a good group, but it's nice to get a bit of support from the industry recognising that as well. Within Built Intelligence, the reach back which we shared last year, we've got more experts now who are helping to answer the questions. So again, a great valuable commodity. It's a spin-off from the group is a discussion forum. This is more of a sort of question and answer session which we shared with you last year. And what we can also share with you is that we've got the new Reachback app. There's a few QSs in the room. You like things for free, don't you? So the Reachback app is free. We did think about making it 69p, but we thought we'll lose the QSs, so we kept it free. So here it is. Every expert needs a sidekick, and you can go straight in, and it just brings up the questions straight from the platform. You can browse the questions. You've got search function in there, and so if you're on a train now, instead of playing Angry Birds, you can have a little browse through the questions there. You can ask live questions, so don't expect to get your answer on the train before you get to your destination, but it's a good support service back. You can even scan and look at the people who are on there. So these are the experts who are answering your questions. Not the best looking bunch, it has to be said, but they know their NEC, okay? So don't doubt their ability. Within the group, we've got a continued growth with the group, 3,470. Before someone tells me, yes, that is out of date, I checked this morning, it's 3,476. A bit like one of my programs, it's out of date nearly as soon as I've issued it, I guess. But since the last conference, we've had over 1,000 people join the community. We had another champagne moment. This was a brainwave of mine. Every time we have 1,000 people, we'll have a bottle of champagne. It's cost me a fortune at the moment. Jeremy over there, so he's our 3,000th member. Did you get the champagne, just so people know?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, good. And we're well on our way to our 4,000th member, so we're approaching 3,500. I will be looking out for dodgy names round about 3,998, okay, so I've got you guys marked. We've had an increased level of discussions and an increased library of good advice. Tomorrow I'm just about to post within the group. I've done the painstaking task of hyperlinking the discussions. So the search function is quite good within there, but we're going to issue within the group a hyperlinked discussion list so you can jump straight to some of the conversations that are in there. So just a few stats from the group. So there's 3,470 and pretty senior people. Looking around, senior doesn't mean old, okay? Senior means experienced, and we've got very experienced people within this group, and by far, you've got senior manager and director level. It makes up the bulk of the group, which again, hopefully is testimony to the group and testimony to you guys taking time out today to come to this event. Just a little bit of announcement. You'll have noticed probably we changed the name, not for any fantastic reason other than when I set it up, myself and Chris, we called it NEC3 Planning and Management under the NEC form of contract. Now, I got bored saying the name. I don't know if people were bored listening to it. So it's a bit cumbersome. And as the sort of groups evolved, we really did feel it was like a sort of community group. And so the name we attached to it was NEC People. So we changed the group name a good few months ago to NEC People Managing NEC3 Contracts. So that's sort of bedded in as that. Now, just a further minor change. It's not a big issue, but Thomas Telford have launched their new trademark policy to ensure that there's no ambiguity or suggestion that other products or groups are part of the Thomas Telford group. We understand and respect the need for that. Other groups may otherwise try and play off the Thomas Telford name. So therefore, we're settling on Built Intelligence's NEC People Managing NEC3 Contracts. Back to a bit of a mouthful, but at the end of the day, it kind of at least tells who the group is and what the group is all about. So we'll make that final change in the coming weeks. Again, just to obviously respect the fact that it's not endorsed by Thomas Telford, but we've got Reka here in the audience as well today, and hopefully that's testament that this group in particular is very aligned. We're all passionate NEC enthusiasts, and we're promoting the good of the contract. So hopefully That's how people in the industry very much see this group. Just a reminder, the group vision when we set this up was creating a portal where people from the construction industry can share knowledge and experience to improve their management and understanding of the NEC 3 contracts on their projects. So that's what we've tried to set up. And hopefully the fact we've got 3,500 people who are very active in their discussions is very much a testament to the group. Now we set up this year our Built Intelligence award nominations as well. So we set up some categories. So we've got Contractor of the Year, Employer of the Year, Project Innovation of the Year, Best Said Clause of the Year. Surprisingly few in this category, but I'll share the few that I got later with you. Worst Said Clause of the Year. Okay, we've only got 7 hours today for this seminar, and again I tried to condense that down, so I'm sure we've all got some, but so we'll introduce some of those at the end. I did just start writing more, and then I was thinking people might take them down as good ideas, so I thought, well, I'll keep them to a minimum. And we've got one award I didn't announce, which is Group Contributor of the Year. I did have a fear that if I announced that, suddenly lots of people will be active in the group, suddenly trying to make themselves. So I didn't tell anyone that we were doing that. So we got an award for the Group Contributor of the Year. I wasn't thinking of you, John, bro, honestly. So with the awards, the first 3 awards, we're just going to announce the nomination shortlist because none of you who've nominated, we've sat and reviewed the entries and we drew up a shortlist, okay, of each of the awards. So those of you in the audience don't know if you've been nominated yet. So Connect Plus for the M25 DBFO, Contract Management Area, Area 5 for Highways Agency. Liverpool University, work on their consultant and contractor frameworks. Staffordshire County Council, working with Balfour Beatty on their highway schemes, and South East Water, working with BAM Nuttall. It's the contractor that's nominated them. They weren't allowed to nominate themselves. Otherwise, we might have had a few more entries, I'm guessing. So they're the shortlist for the Employer of the Year. And the winner is announced later on today. Okay, so we'll come on to that this afternoon. Contractor of the Year, we shortlisted 5. Delatim, a smaller contractor working here in London, but doing good work with LUL Station Stabilisation Programme, and again nominated by the client, so I think that's good recognition. NES for the work with the NDA. Costain on the Walton Bridge project with Surrey Council. Osborne working with Portsmouth down on the Northern Road Bridge replacement, and BAM Nuttall again working with South East Water. And then the shortlist for the Project Innovation of the Year is BAM Nuttall, only ones with an entry in all categories, so it's well done. Project on a Page report, so we'll share that with you later. London Underground, introducing a value engineering ratio, so I'll introduce that concept this afternoon. Crossrail, who introduced a geotechnical baseline report for the tunnelling projects to agree a baseline for the ground conditions, which was quite innovative on that particular project. And Magnox for their supply chain training. Now, we all think training is a good idea, but the levels they've taken to is a particularly a good step. So they're the shortlist for the awards that we're going to run through at the back end of the day this afternoon. So I'd like to introduce Ian Heafy, who's going to be running the first session. Matthew Garrett, who's running the second session today. His planning isn't his skill set. Time risk allowance is a new concept to him. And he's due about 9:30. So he'll sort of slope in sheepish round about then. So he'll be joining us. He's the second presentation. And then we've got Richard and Barry. Richard's Mr. Cool there with the glasses. They'll be doing our sort of third session this morning. We'll take questions at the end as time permits, but enjoy the session.